I'm gonna do my best today to not talk about Nintendo because recently I've been playing a lot of games and none of those have been on the Switch. In a couple of days, I might finally boot that sucker up because Xenoblade X is releasing and I do want to check that out. But in the meantime, why haven't I been uploading videos? Well, it's because I've been doing a ton of other real life things, like having to build out a baby room and put up shelves and pictures and buy books and stuffies and build a crib. And I built a bassinet thing. I'm now learning most of my job as an expecting parent is to build things. My wife is quite literally building the baby, so I'm in the living room building the cage. Not the cage. We don't keep a baby in a cage. I don't know why I said cage. And in between that, I've just been so tired that all I've wanted to do is veg out on my couch and play some games. And I want to share those experiences with you. One's Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft actually gave me that game 2 weeks early. And when they did, I asked them, why? I haven't talked about an Assassin's Creed in maybe ever. Oh, I shouldn't even be wearing this shirt, so... Horizon's actually really good and the PlayStation 5 Pro is worth its money. Yeah, good. I'm successfully a Sony pony. First up, I want to talk about Monster Hunter Wilds because it's been out for a minute. A lot of you know that I was also addicted to Monster Hunter Rise pretty early in the Switch's lifespan, and it was gorgeous. One of the best looking games on the console. It ran like a dream, and it was so much fun. Monster Hunter Rise was packed full of content, but we're not talking about Monster Hunter Rise. We're talking about Monster Hunter Wilds, which isn't packed full of content. They stripped back and streamlined the Monster Hunter experience and really just boiled it down to hunting monsters. Let's talk about the story. That's enough. Graphics in this game are passable. At times, they're actually quite muted and muddy and really not that special. It's just serviceable, and at the end of the day, you're spending most of the time fighting monsters. I'll say where I'm disappointed the most is with my PlayStation 5 Pro, because for some reason, I paid $700 for that. And my options is a quality mode, which is unplayable because the frame rates are so chunky, I'm gonna vom. And then a performance mode, which has pretty good frame rates, but makes the game look even worse than it already did. And a balanced mode, which gives you a decent resolution at a Burger King whopping 40 FPS. What are we doing out here, Sony? What did I buy? Ha! Gotcha! It was me! I've told you about Surfshark VPN so many times. You could have protected yourself, but now you're all hacked, and all you had to do was click the link down below and get Surfshark. What a VPN does is it creates an encrypted tunnel around your data so that no prying eyes can see inside while you're browsing online. It masks your IP address. So it protects all your information, and I mean, even at home, but especially when you're on public Wi-Fi. If you're connecting to any public Wi-Fi without a VPN, boy, you're just asking to lose your credit card. But that's like the boring stuff, right? The safety stuff. You want to know what you can do with the VPN that's fun? Well, since you're masking your IP address, essentially changing your IP address, why not change it to, I don't know, Australia, UK, Singapore, anywhere you want, and then try accessing Netflix. You're gonna get a whole slew of new shows that you never knew you had. Why don't we have the full library? Well, I do, because I use Surfshark VPN. There's so many other great uses. Like right now, my brother and sister are trying to visit me here in America, and I used a VPN to spoof my location to Australia so that when I bought them flights to come see me, I didn't have to pay a bunch of extra international fees or shopping from outside the country. It thought I was in Australia, and I saved money using Surfshark VPN. It's what I'm trying to tell you. We're talking 24-hour customer support, servers in over 3,000 countries, one account, and you can use it on unlimited devices and a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you haven't got Surfshark yet, click the link in the description down below and get 4 months extra by using code BeatEmUps. I tell this story every time, but I was hacked once, like a whole key logging, seeing everything I was doing online, and that was when I downloaded Surfshark the first time to use their built-in antivirus, and it saved me. It immediately found 14 key logging viruses on my PC and deleted them like that, and then they were gone. Love Surfshark. All right, you know what? Because I love you guys, you can use my Surfshark VPN this one time to fix this. All right, you ready? That's how easy it would have been, by the way. And the next one's on you. Link below. All right, continue. The music. I really don't pay attention to music. I don't know why I locked myself into reviewing music in each one of these games, but the one thing I'll say about Monster Hunter Wilds that's really cool is the epic boss fighting monster music is tied to the monsters themselves. If you ride away, the music will get quieter and quieter until it fades out. It's really simple, but really effective. I do feel like they have worked really hard to fine-tune the combat, and it definitely does feel like, in that sense, the best combat I've experienced in a Monster Hunter game. As I said earlier, they've really streamlined this game. There really isn't that much going on outside of the base camps, picking a hunt, going on the hunt, getting the rewards, coming back and doing it again. They streamlined so many things, even over Rise. They even took out the quest board. Now it's tied to an NPC, and for the longest time, I had no idea who I was supposed to talk to activate or to get quests. And the worst part is, this NPC will sometimes just go for a walk and you won't know where your quest board is. I spent over half of the game thinking that I had to go and find her before one of my friends said you could go to the tent and you can find your quest board in a sub-menu in the tent. And that's the thing with this game. It's so menued and sub-menued out of its mind. Remember in Rise, there was a whole tower defense style mission where you would set up your traps, you and your friends could get in there, and then waves of different monsters would roll in. Where are all the different modes in this game? It seems silly to review Marvel Rivals. You know what it is, what it looks like, how it plays. You've seen somebody playing this game, if not played it yourself. I've just been really addicted to it and figured if I was making a video talking about games I enjoy, I should probably talk about this one because it really surprised me. I completely disregarded it, by the way, as an Overwatch clone when I saw it. I was like, I don't like Overwatch. Why would I want to play this? And I think that is the biggest thing working against this game is people thinking they won't like it because they don't like Overwatch, when it takes everything Overwatch tried to do and made it way better. There's something about having the third-person aspect of it all that makes this hero PvP shooter so much more enjoyable to play, and I think it's because I can just see more. I'm not always getting got by my sides or always behind. I can actually see around me a little bit. I can see my character, which also makes buying skins, which is probably why they did it, let's be real. You can actually see your skins, which is nice because I paid a lot of money for this one of Invisible Girl. And I want to see it. All right, this is why I love the game so much. So I main Loki, and yes, I did just get to Grandmaster on PlayStation 5. Some people say the PlayStation 5 is playing on easy mode. I disagree. However, I am trying to play it on PC, and I can't get out of gold, but that doesn't discredit what I said. I always love in these hero-type-based games, I like playing the trickster, the ones that can go stealth, the ones that can go invisible. When I played Baldur's Gate, I wanted to be a rogue, but I grew up. My blood runs red. Yeah, it's blood for Dota 2. I have so many hours in that game from growing up with my high school friends, and one of my main characters that I played was Rubik. And one of the best things about Rubik was he could take any character's ult. You're not just locked into having one ult at any given time. You're able to use 10, 12 different ults at that moment, depending on what that moment calls for. And it's that level of strategy that I am addicted to in any game like this. So playing as Loki, I'm also the team's healer, and we literally win games because I'm able to keep everybody healed. If I feel like the team's doing pretty good for health, I can take one of the crazy DPS ults like Psylocke and just go crazy on the enemy team. But one of my favorite things is that every hero feels overpowered. Every hero feels like they should not be that strong, but because they're all that strong, it weirdly equals out. Every character has these insane movesets, but everything works and doesn't break. Final thoughts, it's free. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I've just been playing it way too much and I wanted to talk about it. I really do like it. Oh, music. What I really want to highlight here in terms of sound design is all of the audio cues from the heroes and the villains in the game. Even just ignoring the general abilities, the ultimate callouts are so sick. Have you heard Adam Warlock doing his Born Again? It's awesome. Leaving the PlayStation behind for a second and moving to my PC, where I sometimes sit at night and play games with friends like Fried Biscuits and Bob Wolf, and recently we found a game called Frag Punk. It actually does what Marvel Rivals did in the sense of stealing from Overwatch. Frag Punk steals from Valorant. All their abilities are insane. One of the main first ones that you get for free, his signature ability is to just pull out a rocket launcher and get 2 free rocket launcher hits, which literally just one hits the other for free. Valorant introduced wacky abilities, but what Frag Punk introduces on top of that are these shard cards. I think they're actually called shard cards, but my brain just always goes to shard cards. Every single round will proxy different shard cards for your team to vote on. And the shard cards will completely mess up the way the game is played in kind of wonderful RNG ways. There's a card that gives every player a Pokemon that follows them around and does damage for them. There's one that puts a giant turtle on your back so that you can't take damage from behind. There's one that makes the ground icy so that you can slide around. There's ones that make it so if you crouch for 10 seconds, you'll lay an egg, and if you eat that egg, you get your health back. I'm not making these up. They are insane. The best one by far, though, is there's a card that makes it so the louder you scream into the mic, the faster you move in the game. This is ridiculous. The graphics are fine. The music's whatever. Actually, the music of the title, the load up title screen, pretty sick. The gameplay is fun. It kind of plays like Call of Duty and Halo, but in Valorant. I actually do think this card mechanic is pretty innovative, taking that idea and meshing it into a traditional 5v5 PvP game. It's a little silly and goofy, and it's just fun to mess around in. While I was not writing a script for this video, but sitting down and making a very short Google Doc about the 6 games I wanted to talk about, there was a little frog on my screen, just in the corner, a little hut, 1 chair, and a frog man. And that frog man was just going about his day. He was just snipping some grass. His name is Robuka, and this is his idle island. It's just a little passive game that you can put on your monitor while you're doing other things. There's nice ambient music and sound effects that come from the app. The grass he was cutting were getting stored like currency, and I can use those clippings to upgrade his stamina or how much he can cut grass, and I can turn them into coins that I can use to get little loot box things, and they have extra houses or different chairs to switch out the cosmetics of his little setup that he's got going on here. It's really cozy, and I just keep it in the corner. I don't know why I really like it, but I do. Something I like to talk about every now and then, and I gotta sneak it in there because you guys, you check out as soon as I say the 2 little letters VR. It's called Hellsweeper VR. It's a roguelike VR game you can play with up to 3 people. The reason why this game is so fun is because it is so insanely polished. It honestly feels like you can do anything. Starts you out with a pistol and a sword, and pretty soon you unlock the ability to do fireballs, and you can just throw fire. If you take the fireballs in your hand and you smash them together, you create a fire whirlwind, and you just start flying around like a crazy wizard. If we took an ice in one hand, fire in the other hand, we can make an ice and fire purple storm. If we take an axe in one hand and fire in one hand and smash it together, you get a fire axe. There are so many different guns and melee weapons and swords that you can unlock, and everything just feels really precise and accurate and fun to play with. This is easily one of the best VR games I've played in every way, and my friend and I were just losing our minds. It never looks good when you show graphics on a 2D screen and I'm trying to review it for you guys, but trust me, when you're there, when you're in it, when your eyeballs are looking at it, it's really good. Just really fun to play. I don't know what to tell you. Kim is very pregnant. It's been hard to even get her to sit for an hour to do the podcast because she's in so much discomfort. So I didn't want to try and get her for this, which is a shame because we've been playing Split Fiction. We played through It Takes Two together and we loved that game. It's from the same studio, Hazelight Studios, and I also played through A Way Out with my friend Michael from high school when that game came out, and that was also awesome. The thing that Hazelight excels in, and the only thing that they want to do apparently, is making really fun co-op games that can only be played in co-op, and they once again nailed it. It's a story about 2 writers, one fiction, one fantasy, and they go to this weird industrial place, sold these dreams of having their stories become published and making a ton of money, but in doing that, this company wanted to put them in a weird bubble thing and like extract their memories of the story and turn it into a published work that way. One of the girls in this story freaks out about that, understandably, tried to run away, ended up falling into the other girl's bubble, and now they're trapped in each other's story, and the system is malfunctioning and they can't get out, and the story is flip-flopping between sci-fi and fantasy. It's a really cool premise, and it takes a little bit to get rolling. I found for the first few missions, it was just a lot of platforming, like really rudimentary baby's first platformer style game, I was kind of baffled by the opening of the game, considering It Takes Two really hits the ground running. But once it finally gets going and it starts exploring some of those abilities and those co-op concepts, I don't understand how this game studio's brain works. It really opened up for her in the whimsy way when we hit the pigs level, where I don't want to give too many spoilers, but where you become pigs. And that's really where this studio starts to showcase their ridiculous side, and that you never know what to expect in a Hazelight Studio game at this point. If you want to talk about innovation, I mean, the entire game, always throwing you different wacky abilities and settings, never outstaying its welcome in any one place for more than 20 minutes before you go to a whole new world. This game is constantly innovating within itself. It feels a little indie still in the way it's presented, and I kind of like that. It has charm, and it's not trying too hard to look stunning or gorgeous, while at some times, especially blasting through those sci-fi cities, it does look really cool with the neon lights. The story would be my only complaint, I think. The dialogue is a little corny, or a lot corny, but that's my only nitpick. The last game that I've been playing recently is Assassin's Creed. Like I said, Shadows, Ubisoft sent it over. I started playing it like a week ago. I wasn't really in any big rush. I didn't know if I was even gonna review it. I was surprised to even get it. I didn't even ask for it. I think they were really pushing out codes for promotion to get traction, because there's been so much controversy around this game. Ubisoft has not been in a good place recently. They've had a lot of duds. They had Star Wars Outlaws, which there was a Star Wars franchise property, and they pumped so much money and time into it for it to completely bomb and fail, because it just wasn't that fun, and it forced Ubisoft's hand into pulling back the release and launch date of Shadows to polish the game. That is a big ass red flag. It took a failure of another game for you to say, we should probably finish this game, and it might take another half a year to do that. Why were you ever going to release it? On one hand, I appreciate you recognized that and you ended up putting in the work, and I gotta say, it clearly shows. I've been playing this game for hours and I've seen no bugs, no glitches. It plays like a dream. Can you just do that from now on? Can you just finish a game and not release it before it's polished? I was confused by this game. The whole idea, I thought, is that there are two main characters in this game. You have this one guy who's like this giant brute of a man who can just force his way through any combat situation with just sheer power. And then your more traditional assassin style character where she's stealthy and she actually has to rely on the hidden blade because she's not that overwhelmingly powerful. And it was the first guy that upset people, but where is he? The game starts with him for about 5 to 10 minutes. It kind of sets up his character, and I'm almost like kind of getting into it, but then he's gone and it's just the other girl. And then her story gets set up and I get really into that, and then it's just her for like hours. There was a little bit of exploring here or there, but for the most part, I was just trying to figure out what to do, and I was a little confused. The quest tracking system made no sense to me for a long time. I felt like an idiot, but it was about 10 hours into the game before I ever saw Yasuke again. And like by that point, I was just already zooming. You know, I had figured out her play style. I'd been playing with her the whole time. I was as into her story as I could. And the story, there's so much dialogue and talking. And in like 10 hours of the game, there was like 2 cool story points and then just hours of slog that I didn't care about. But in saying that, I was just used to her at that point. And then all of a sudden I get whiplash back to this other guy. And I almost wonder if maybe they wanted to hide him until you got used to the game and you liked the game, you were invested in the game. The controversial guy, we'll bring him in 10 hours in once people are already suck it in, and then they'll just want to keep playing because they already like the other girl. That weirdness aside, I gotta say the game is gorgeous. This is one of the most beautiful games I have ever seen. Ubisoft have really knocked it out of the park here. I took this screenshot in the game world and I still look at it and struggle to believe that I took it in a game and it's not just a picture. And that's how the game legitimately looks while you play it. It is the most beautiful depiction of Japan. I will literally just walk around and look at things. I haven't played an Assassin's Creed in a long time. I think the last one I played was Syndicate. This does not feel like Assassin's Creed anymore. This feels like Ghost of Tsushima style game. this feels like a samurai style game. It feels so far and removed from what I remember, and maybe that's a good thing. This is where we were always going, but there's a part of me, a nostalgic part of me, that kind of misses just climbing stuff in Assassin's games. Running along rooftops of old cities and assassinating people down alleyways. Like, that was Assassin's Creed to me. This kind of feels like a really expansive open world game that's borrowing the Assassin's Creed name still all these years later. And I realize this is probably a logical progression for a lot of people that played Odyssey and Valhalla and all of those games, which I didn't. Something happened in between there, and this is something else now. Runs pretty smooth in performance mode. Once again, you cannot do quality mode even on PlayStation 5 Pro. I don't know who plays in these chunky ass modes. I am definitely in performance, but the home base area, that runs like crap. For some reason, this one town, even on performance mode, runs less than 30 frames, and the second you walk out of the town, it speeds back up to 60. Oh, but in that little town, by the way, this is the best part of the game. There's animals everywhere, dogs, cats, all different kinds, and if you pet them, you just unlock them, and you can just put pets in your base. And it's the best part of the game. I'm petting kitties all day long. I'm recording this voiceover later because I complained about the way the game looked on my PlayStation Pro a lot, and then I saw Digital Foundry's breakdown of this game versus the base PS5 model. Seeing the PlayStation 5 version, okay, maybe finally I'm getting my $700 worth here. Wow, why does the base version look so bad? The story, I already talked about that. It's kind of bleh. There are some highs, but most of it is lows. I can't really tell you it's innovated. I mean, it definitely innovated with visuals. It looks gorgeous, but gameplay, story, anything else, I would say I would struggle to really find any kind of innovation here or anything new that doesn't feel recycled. I don't really see myself after this video committing to fully finishing the game, which is something like 60, 70 hours. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I am just not invested. It's really good that they took the time to polish it, and it definitely feels polished. There's technically nothing wrong with this game at all, but it is just another video game. It really is just another Assassin's Creed that looks better than ever, and it's gorgeous in every step, and there's something to look at everywhere you go, but not necessarily something to do. I don't want to talk about Nintendo because I promised that I wouldn't, but it's like in Breath of the Wild where everything you do, everything you're supposed to do is a puzzle, is a challenge, is a mini game. It's something fun that you want to do, but here it's just another thing on a checklist. I gotta be honest, the main thing that keeps me coming back to even wanting to put another hour in is because I'm excited to unlock more of the map and just see the world that they've built. And in that much, I really do appreciate the love, care, and attention they took with the world building. It is honestly quite astounding. It makes me wish I could visit that era of Japan so much more than I already do. And I hope they made it all and didn't use AI for any of it because it's gorgeous, and respect to the game developers for that. That's everything. If this video helped you decide on any of these games or you found something that you wanted to play, let me know. Leave a comment down below about your thoughts on all of these games. These are just my thoughts, by the way. If you loved Assassin's Creed or you hated Monster Hunter Wilds, let me know down below. Everyone has different opinions. Mine doesn't have to be the correct one. It's just the best one. No, that's not true. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you.